I think the biggest thing that women get wrong is your network are not your customers.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. Your
That's a
network
good
is
one.
not your
Yeah.
network is not your customers. And I mean that by that when you go and have a one-on-one with somebody, you're not there to sell them your products or your services.
Yeah.
You're there to get to
To
know
meet
them,
them.
let them get to know you. And
Yeah.
then maybe you could connect to their network. And maybe
Yeah.
she has people, and they could end up being your customer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you don't go to meet somebody, to talk to somebody with that idea of, I'm going to sell you something.
Yeah.
Does that make
because
sense?
people feel that, right?
Gosh, yes.
Yes, they definitely feel that. So really opening the door to let's create a relationship with this.
Right.
Yeah.
Because honestly, and I know it's oversaid so much, but it's absolutely true. You buy from and you work with people you know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I say no, love, and trust.
Yes. If you sit down and you say, you need my services or you need my product, or I'm like, you don't even know who I am. You don't even know what I need.
Hello, my extraordinary women friends. Connection has been the heart of my success. It's been the fuel behind my biggest business moves, the foundation of my growth, and the source of some of my deepest friendships. And when I met today's guest, I knew we shared a belief in the power of women lifting other women. Jean LaVallie is the founder of WESOS, Women Entrepreneurs Secrets of Success, a thriving network that started as a single chapter in the suburbs of Chicago and has since expanded across multiple states. Her belief in collaboration over competition has brought thousands of women together, proving that when we rise together. Today, we're talking about the role women are playing in shaping our world, why women coming together in community matters more than ever, and how the support of the right people can change everything. Let's meet Jean LaVallie. Well, welcome to Extraordinary Women Radio, Jean. It is so exciting to have you here today. It's long due that we're on here. Yeah, it's long due that I have you on the show. So I am thrilled to have you. And you've built this incredible community of WESOS, the Women Entrepreneurs Secrets of Success, which I didn't actually know what the acronym meant until just today. And I'm like, oh, that's a really great acronym. I love it so much. Secrets of Success. So take us back to the beginning and what really inspired you to start this network for women entrepreneurs.
It started because when I was 50, I decided to get back in the corporate world. And I had been pretty successful in the corporate world before I had kids. And the 25 years I was home with my kids, I did some entrepreneurial things. I sew and I did vendor shows and all those things. So I always had kind of an entrepreneurial spirit, but I never really recognized it. But turns out when I turned 50, nobody would hire me, not even to answer their phones, because
I've heard that before. That's a story I've heard before.
After raising 4 kids,
Well, and it's just, I've heard the story of women after 50 looking for work and having a harder time, right?
Yeah. And what is that all about?
I don't know.
Anyway, so I got into network marketing, and I don't know how it escaped me, but I was going to have to network in order to be in network marketing. And I actually didn't even know what networking was when I was 50 years old. And so I thought, oh my goodness, you actually go into this room with a bunch of people you don't know and talk. It was pretty intimidating for me. But I started WESOS. Actually, it's a story of how I started it. I took it over from another group that was closing. And the reason I took it over was because it had that feel of women supporting women, that we were all there to support each other. We weren't there just passing out cards and, trying to get a sale from each other. It was true relationship building.
And there is a difference, right? I mean, you've definitely gone to networking events in the past or groups in the past that don't have that true relationship focus. And then there's the ones that build true relationship. And there's a big difference in that than, somebody just throwing a card in your face and actually building relationships. So talk to us a little bit about that. What was that group? What was going on in that group that you felt that?
Well, I will tell you right now that that's what attracted me to Ignite. I was talked into going by a friend. I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And I got there and I was like, oh, the energy. And I think that's really what I'm after, is the energy. And what the energy, the first meeting that I went to, and it was Women's Entrepreneur Secrets of Success. It wasn't WESOS for years later after I took it over. But the, I was so new to networking, and I was so nervous to talk to anybody about my products or my business, or it was just really nerve-wracking for me, as we were talking about before. And when I sat down with these women, there was only about 8 women at this meeting, and they were so supportive of me. And they told me, you gotta go after your dreams. You have to, they just were cheerleaders for me. And I thought, I really like this. And so that was the group I kind of narrowed in on. There was other groups that I tried, but because of the transactional quality, or because of the only word I can use is mistrust, and don't misconstrue that as these were bad people. I just didn't feel that energy of we're here for each other. So it was a meetup through meetup.com. And when I was sitting at my computer about a couple of months after I'd gone to a couple of meetings of theirs, and I got an email from Meetup that said, Women's Entrepreneurial Secrets of Success is closing. The organizer is stepping down, and if somebody doesn't take it over, it's going to close. And it made me really sad. But then on the very bottom of the email, it said, click here for information about being the organizer. So I clicked to find out, just what would that look like. And the very next page said, congratulations, you are now the organizer for Women's Entrepreneurial Secrets of Success. And here's me.
With a single click.
I was, okay. And then I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that the universe has a plan for all of us, or God has a plan for all of us. And so I thought, well, how hard can it be to get a bunch of ladies together once a month to have a cup of coffee? Come on, Jill, you can do this.
Yeah.
And so I put up my own parameters, though, around it, of being kind to one another. We're not going to judge each other. We're going to be here mostly just to support each other. And I'll tell you, Cammie, when you give women permission to lower their guard, it's magical. It really is. And I think you know that because that's what your community seemed like to me.
Yeah. I think I always was, when I started my events, my Ignite conference, and I ran for many years a series called Extraordinary Women Connect. And it was always about just connecting great women to great women, right? And that was where it started, right? It was because I was like, oh, I'm meeting so many amazing women. I want to introduce this one to that one. And I was always just making these introductions. And that was where, my Extraordinary Women Connect events happened and started. And that's where my Ignite conference started. And just by the amazing women. So it's the same sort of thing. So tell us more about the growth, the growth of WESOS.
It is, well, we survived the pandemic. So that was
huge.
Totally.
Yeah.
We are face to face. We kind of call each other the hugging group. I vacillate back and forth with whether we're more business or we're more social, because they really do go hand in hand. Women talk about all the relationships that they've made in WESOS for 10 years now, that it's just they're the strongest relationships. So I started in Bolingbrook, Illinois, which is just a suburb of Chicago. And we were at this little cafe, and it held 50 people in the room. We started with, I think our first meeting, we had 12, and it just started to grow. And like I said, I think it was such a feel-good place of non-judgment, of support, of you can do this, of welcoming. That was another big one too. We got to 50 people, we filled the room. And then within a couple of years' time, we were moving into an overflow room of another 30 people. So it was, 80 people. And people would say to me all the time, Jean, we need a bigger spot. I'm like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to listen to 80 introductions. That's a lot. Even at 30 seconds, that's a lot of introductions. Right. And people lose interest. And is there really that much value? So that's when we broke into chapters. And that was just in Illinois. We broke into about 6 chapters. And but then I moved to Colorado, which is where I'm at now. And, we just started finding people from all over the country that really loved the idea, and it really resonated with them. People who moved from Chicago, like our Indianapolis leader right now, she used to be in Chicago and she loved WESOS, and she wanted to bring WESOS to Indianapolis. So it really was kind of a snowball effect. But I will say it all goes back to our intention. the intention is something that I feel like I was heavily into the go-giver when I started WESOS.
Oh,
And I really wanted our intention um, to mirror what the go-giver idea of the more you give, the more you get.
yeah.
And we came up with our intention, and we say it before every one of our meetings. It's one of the things that our leaders, we all have in common. Every one of our chapters kind of has their own personality, but they keep with that intention of, that we're here to create authentic relationships, give each other mutual support, and also share our resources. That was a big thing when I started networking, was people were it's such a scarcity mentality, at least the people that I was around, of,
Yeah.
well, if I tell her, then she's going to be more successful than me. And it's
And that doesn't go anywhere. True. That just really doesn't go anywhere. So how many chapters do you have now?
Just added 5, it's been a banner year. It's been crazy this last January.
You just added 5 this year?
We just added 5 this year, yes.
Wow.
But we lost a few after pandemic. So we're coming back to where we were, and we are, by the end of March, we'll have 20 chapters in Southwest Florida, Chicago, Indianapolis, our first one in Indiana, Arizona, and Colorado.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. So you talk a lot about collaboration over competition, which you and I share that value in a big way. I mean, that's something, we speak that same love language. When you are thinking about that, tell us a little bit more about what that means to you.
Well, it goes back to scarcity, I think, a little bit, where there's so much business out there. And when you're going to, when you're in competition, it's such a negative emotion. But collaboration, just to me, it feels so good. It feels so good. I try to find those women's group, and that's why I was so excited again to find Ignite, that believe in a rising tide lifts all ships, and really believes it, not just lip service.
Just says it, right? Yeah. There's a big difference. Yeah.
Right. Because I have approached other women's groups to collaborate with WESOS, because I love all the collaboration between individual women, but just think how more powerful we can be if we get these groups together to collaborate.
Totally.
And it is a better feeling. It is a stronger feeling. I believe it is part of the female energy essence to gather and to support each other.
Yeah.
And I just think we go further and faster if we go together.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I was jumping out of my seat at Ignite, because I found another group that really does believe that we're here for each other, and we're here to make the world a better place. So let's do it together.
Yeah. You mentioned COVID earlier, and when COVID was happening, I had my community, my Extraordinary Women Connect community. I had other friends that had communities that I had there was the Dames, there was the Colorado Women's Chamber, there was the Women of Mergers and Acquisitions. And that was one of the things that we actually, there was a group of us that just started to get together on a regular basis that were leading these different women's groups. And how do we, move through this time? And it was so powerful because, it was just like, when all of a sudden people couldn't meet in person, and it's like, what do we do with this? And so really being able to support one another from that perspective. And so I love that, that you do the same thing. It's like you find different women's groups that you can all collaborate together. Another one I have collaborated a lot with is the Second Act Women that's here in Colorado. And it's like, just finding other communities that you can, really work with together makes us stronger. And it's I always say there's no such thing as competition, because when I think about each one of us is unique in our own way, what I do, what you do, what anyone else around the circle would do, they're bringing all their experiences, all of their gifts, all of who they are. And so there's no one just like any one woman sitting in the circle. So everyone is so unique. And that's why I would say there's no such thing as competition. And I was a VP of marketing in my corporate day and did a lot of competitive analysis. I never do competitive analysis anymore. It's like, let's just collaborate. I so agree with that.
Well, this
agree
is
with.
who I am. If you like me, or if you like the
Yeah.
group, or
Yeah.
um, I think the biggest thing is community. I really
Yeah.
do. I think the biggest thing is finding your community that you vibe with,
Yeah.
and then sticking with them.
Yeah. I so agree with that. So what's something women entrepreneurs get wrong when it comes to building a supportive network around them? So you see a lot of women that are, putting, they're out there thinking that they want to network and build community, but what do you see women getting wrong when they're building
I
community?
think the biggest thing that women get wrong is, a your network are not your customers.
Yeah,
That's one of the biggest things. Your
that's a
network
good
is not
one.
your, yeah. Your
Yeah,
network is not your customers, and I mean that by that when you go and have a one-on-one with somebody, you're not there to sell them your products or your services.
yeah,
You're there to get to
to
know
meet
them,
them.
let them
Yeah,
get to know you, and
yeah,
then maybe you could connect to their network, and
yeah,
maybe she has people, and they could end up being your customer. I
yeah,
mean, I'm not saying
yeah,
it's impossible, but you don't go to meet somebody, to talk to somebody with that idea of, I'm going to sell you something.
yeah,
Does
yeah.
that make
Because people
sense?
feel that, right?
Oh gosh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
they definitely feel that. So really opening the door to, let's create a relationship with this.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
honestly, and I know it's oversaid so much, but it's absolutely true. You buy from, and you work with people you know, like, and trust.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you
I say
sit
no,
down
love, and
and
trust.
yes, yes. If you sit down and you say, you need my services, or you need my product, or I'm like, you don't even know who I am. You don't even
Yeah,
know what I need. My
yeah.
favorite story about this was, I had a friend in Chicago. I still have a friend in Chicago, but we were at a vendor event, and she shaves her head, and she likes to shave her head, and her hair is really thick and really beautiful. But she was having, she wanted to shave her head, and she was walking by, and this woman walks by with a hair product, and she said, I have something that can help you grow your hair. And she was
Oh,
like, well, I don't want to grow my hair. She didn't even say that. But she was offended, because she said, I was going to talk to this woman because my daughter has long curly hair too, and she needs products. But
mm-hmm.
because she just assumed that she was going to sell to the woman standing in front of her, it turned her off, and she
Yeah,
walked away. I
yeah,
thought, well, yeah, that was a sale.
yeah. Totally, 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 totally. And you also talk a lot about masculine and feminine energy when it comes to business. And how does feminine energy really give women a competitive edge?
I think just being yourself. I think
Yeah,
just being yourself, because just like you said, people can feel it when you're not being yourself.
yeah,
And people can feel it when you're trying to be transactional, which is what I call the masculine
yeah,
energy.
yeah,
Women can have masculine energy, and men can have
yeah,
feminine energy. It really doesn't have a lot to do with gender. It has a lot
exactly.
to do with that transactional. I want to sell. I want to go. I'm in a hurry. I got to get going. And that's how men have always done business. But I think it's pretty much part of a revolution. And I know that you felt it too, probably for the last 10 years, to say,
Mm-hmm.
why are women coming out with this masculine energy when what we really want to do is get to know the other person and
Yeah,
not be competitive with them?
yeah.
And um, have a good time. I feel like we have a good time when we network.
We
and
do.
and while you have a good time, you could actually be creating an awareness of your business.
Yeah, yeah, I so agree. And I just think we're natural. We have been come together in circles for forever, right? Women have
Hmm.
come together in circles historically forever and ever.
Yes.
And that there's so much power in women coming together in circles, and just hearing each other's wisdom and learning from each other and lifting each other up, and the support that we can give to one another. That's natural for us, I believe. I feel like that's some of our superpowers. So if we can tap into that superpower as women, I think it's really a beautiful thing.
And trust it. I think one of the
Yeah,
biggest things for me is just trusting that it's there, because sometimes, we all have bad days as
yeah,
entrepreneurs,
yeah,
and that's why your support team is there. But to be authentic and say, you know what, I'm having a bad day. I need my
yeah,
girlfriends. I need my entrepreneurial girlfriends.
yeah,
Um, to me, it can make or break your company.
yeah. I would agree with that. Totally agree with that. some entrepreneurs believe they have to go it alone to prove themselves. And what would you say to someone who thinks that she doesn't need a community?
I would suggest that they try a community for a little while and see,
Exactly.
see if they're right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even if you're a loner, I find that there's a lot of entrepreneurial women that are introverts.
Totally.
And
I'm an introvert. I totally am
yeah,
an
I will
introvert.
say too. I mean, if I would go to WESOS meetings and the women would be like, I leave here so filled up. I'm like, really? Because I leave here and I got to go home and take a nap.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just the difference in the person. But even if you're an introvert, if you find your people and you find the vibe that you want in a community,
Mm-hmm.
no one's forcing you to talk. No one's forcing you to do anything you don't want to do, but there are giving you support. And I think that's the biggest thing, because I talked to a gal, she was all alone up in Oregon, and her and I were talking, and she was asking me, she's like, why should I join the community? And I said, well, who around you is supporting you? Is it your friends? Is it your family? And she said, oh no. She said, they're all telling me I'm crazy and why don't I have a job and I shouldn't be trying to be an entrepreneur. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's kind
You
of
need
what
community.
that's kind of what friends and family do. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you torturing yourself? So that's a big argument for community, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Totally. So if somebody is looking for communities, they're stepping into being an entrepreneur and they're like, I really want to have community around me, or they've been an entrepreneur for a long time and they feel like their community is not right. What wisdom would you give them?
I would say try different groups. That's the biggest thing that I came to notice with WESOS is I know that women entrepreneurs who are starting out are not rolling in the capital, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that it's impossible for women to get capital. So in order to be part of 2 or 3 different communities,
Mm-hmm.
so that I think is really important. But find the communities that can serve you, that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's really an important thing for me, and why we keep our prices so affordable is because I
Mm-hmm.
really want women to realize, yes, you're here. This is great that you're talking to this community, but if you're meeting with the same people all the time, you need to expand your
Yeah.
group. You need to find new people to talk to.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like, and I've been involved in different communities over the years, and it does make sense to like mix them up, and get involved in different groups because you do meet whole different groups of people,
Right,
and
right.
that's really, I think, an important part of that. So what's next for WESOS? What's as you're thinking through like this future of WESOS, what's coming down the pipeline?
My dream is, well, what I really want to do, Cami, is connect 1 million women. So
Cool.
whether you become a WESOS member or you don't become a WESOS member, I just think that the world will change for the better
Mm-hmm.
if women start embracing their power and their feminine energy.
Oh,
It's
so
been way
agree.
too long that we have suppressed that. It's been way too long that we've been hiding it under a bushel basket, and we need to come out with our feminine energy and change the world,
Yeah.
quite honestly.
Yeah.
And so, having said that, the future for my group and for the members of WESOS is my big goal is nationwide. I know a lot of people want to do worldwide, but I think nationwide we can really make a big change for all the women that are in the United States and
Yep.
then beyond. So
Yeah.
once we accumulate this incredible community and we collaborate with all the other communities, that's when we can go and make real difference in the world and support the women that really in the world need the Western woman's.
What cities would you love to have a chapter in that you don't have one in right now?
I'm talking to a woman in Dallas right now, so
Uh-huh.
that would be really fun. We're not in that part of the country. The East Coast would be really fun
Okay.
because we don't have anything there either. Northern Midwest, we were in Chicago and never really went to Wisconsin,
Okay.
so that would be really fun. Um, and then I'm talking to a gal in California as well.
Awesome.
So,
So putting the
actually,
word
we can't
out.
get any further than Hawaii. We just opened in Hawaii.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So putting the word out to our listeners, if you're in a city that there's not a WESOS, that might be a great
Any
opportunity.
city, you know what?
Yeah.
I got to tell you though, Cammie, one of the biggest things for WESOS is um, that in Chicago, we have so many chapters. We have
Mm-hmm.
8 or 9 chapters in Chicago. And
Okay.
these ladies can go to all these different chapters and meet new people all around. You might have to drive an hour from the south side of Chicago up to, Evanston or something. But it's really interesting to me how much they love it and how they're such a huge community in the Chicagoland area. So I'd like to do that in Arizona. Right now we're in Tucson and Cochise County. Florida. Oh, we're talking to another person in Florida, so I'd like to have a couple of chapters there. So really, the sky's the limit. And for me, my focus is really on leadership
Mm-hmm.
and finding those people, finding those women that want to build a community but want to do it with heart and with love. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to normalize love. I know you are
Yay.
too. It's like
Yay.
instead, if you can easily say I hate this or I hate that, we can say I love just
Yeah.
as easily.
Yeah. That's so good. So good. So where can people connect with you, and where can they learn more about WESOS?
Well, you could go to our website, which is WESOS, WESOS network.com. But if you want to connect with me directly, it's Jean at WESOSnetwork.com.
Cool.
JEAN. Simple, simple, simple. And I'd love to talk to anybody who either is interested in membership or interested in opening a chapter and starting their own thriving community of women supporting women. We have a really dynamic training program, and like I said, it's all super affordable, and it really is just connecting a million women.
Yeah. And I'll just, toss out there, when you're growing your business, it's a really good thing to run a community, because you're the leader, you're seen as the leader. That's certainly served me well. And it's like, having, when you're growing community or growing your business, community around you is going to really help. So it really is a great thing to take on that kind of a leadership role like that.
Right. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is that except for a few things like the intention, and we close our meeting with the same saying every time. We always have a presentation, and we always let our ladies do their business introductions and
Mm-hmm.
practice their elevator pitch. We like them to keep it to 30 seconds because no one's listening past that. But there's just 4 elements of the meeting. And then after that, the chapter becomes the personality of the leader. And that's why I'm really careful when I'm interviewing leaders of this servant leadership heart that I know you have, and so many of all of our leaders have it. And I think that's the biggest thing for our community to really thrive, is that these leaders realize that they are there to serve their community.
So good. So good. So the final question I always close with is, what are 3 pearls of wisdom you'd like to leave our listeners today?
Oh boy. I think that again, the biggest thing is find your tribe, find people that you can talk to, um, find people that you admire that you can talk to, find a mentor. I think too,
Mm-hmm.
even if that person doesn't realize that you're a mentor, because you're a mentor for me. And I don't know if you ever knew that.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
I watch them and kind of watch what they're doing. And especially people that I admire their heart. Um, and then the community, surround yourself with the community. And I think a big one, Cammie, is show up.
Yeah.
Is if you say you're going to show up, show up.
Yeah.
It's show up, a mess, show up, angry, show up, sad, show up, whatever, however you're going to show up, because you never know where that's going to take you. And if you aren't willing to show up, you're just sitting in your house, and all the answers are no all around you.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good. Jean, I'm so glad we got to do this today. It's what a beautiful business you've built, a beautiful organization and community. And you should be really proud.
Well, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know, and I'm
Mm.
honored to be here with you today.
Oh, well, thanks for joining me.